AI wars, the new Cold War, and why China is already winning. The Iron Curtain of AI is descending around the world, and just like the Cold War fought over nuclear arms, the AI wars are about data, chips, and energy. Some of the key differences here, unlike the USSR, which was isolated, China is not. It's exporting AI tech, EVs, and renewable energies to Africa, Southeast Asia, and even Europe. AI was their Sputnik moment. DeepSeek's one open source release was China's momentum to the stage and forefront of innovation in tech, proving they can out-innovate the West without matching their resources. Now here's the twist. While OpenAI hoards its models, DeepSeek's open source strategy is winning hearts and minds globally. So where's this arm race taking place, and who are some of the players? It's happening all over the world, and I can only cover so many, but we're going to get into the guts of the technology here. The semiconductors arms race. There's no AI without semiconductors, and clearly the West has an advantage here. But for how long? TSMC versus SMIC, the chip wars. Taiwan's TSMC produces 90% of the world's advanced AI chips, but China's SMIC just unveiled a 5-nanometer chip using vintage ASML technology. This is a little bigger than the chips they currently have, so is there espionage happening behind the scenes here? SMIC's breakthroughs came after hiring 100 plus TSMC engineers, or a brain drain that Taiwan calls from its industrial sector. These chips may be a little bit outdated, but they certainly are making up for lost ground. The rise of dumb chips. This is a very fascinating one, and I just learned about it recently. Startups like GrowQ, not to be confused with Grok, are ditching GPUs for LPUs, language processing units. These are cheaper, specialized chips that run large language models 10 times faster. And the energy impact is significant because LPUs cut data center power needs by as much as 40%, threatening NVIDIA's dominance for a one-size-fits-all chip. Now, is the energy divide what puts the West at a severe disadvantage? We know that China produced over 300 gigawatts of renewables in 2024 alone, and this is going to certainly outpace the sluggishness of America's adoption in nuclear and other expensive forms of energy that the West is struggling with right now. The state subsidies of the Chinese government is likely helping these AI startups not only fuel growth and innovation, but cut their costs by a tenth, if not more, to their Western rivals, giving them a massive competitive advantage. Now we have to look very closely into Africa and what they're doing there. Africa certainly isn't on the bingo card of AI innovators. We know that Kenya and Nigeria are leasing decommissioned US coal plants to power AI data centers using dirty energy the West abandoned. And this is the irony of it all. Africa's AI colonialism lets them monetize Western climate glut while China sells them solar panels to help them wean off carbon and something that's more sustainable and renewable in the long run. Is all of this a psyop? I see in the comments, this is a psyop, Mike, you're a Chinese agent, things like that. None of that is true. And this could be an open source trap. China's genius play here. This is phenomenal to look at it from this sort of an angle, because DeepSeek is actually a poison pill strategy. If you look at it from this point of view, DeepSeek's open sourced its models not to democratize AI, but to flood the market with cheap alternatives, forcing Western firms into a pricing war they cannot win. Does it also run into data poisoning as well? Anonymous GitHub leaks suggest that DeepSeek contains AI-generated junk designed to corrupt rival models. So unless you have intricacies to use this open source model, you're going to fall into a lot of traps, and you won't unlock the secrets as quickly as the team behind it did. All of this is powered by the Meta Lambda. And this is the big paradox here, because Meta is investing $65 billion into a new data center that's going to require a ton of energy, and Lambda is their AI open source tool that everyone is copying. It's copied so much that Llama 3 is now the most pirated AI model in China, used by over 500 startups. Zuckerberg's open source idealism is fueling China's closed source dominance. Now let's start to draw the lines of this Cold War. Front lines in espionage and ethics starts in the European Union. The EU's secret weapon could be GDPR2, and the EU has a new AI liability directive, which forces companies to prove their models didn't train on copyrighted or unethical data, a rule China could ignore. Just yesterday, the Italian government and data protection services is forced the removal of DeepSeek from the Apple Store until they can verify the quality of the data, what was it trained on, the location of the servers, because this can potentially be a big privacy risk to users inside the EU and users globally that could be giving away their free data that essentially is feeding their AI, which is going to train on a larger data set, which is going to make it even bigger and faster. Think about it. If you have a free AI, you really don't have any sort of protection, you opt into the terms of services, and they can do whatever they want with that data. And they're likely making it better, smarter, and faster. So what's the hidden agenda here? This isn't about ethics, it's a trade barrier. Compliance costs could add another 20 million euros a year for startups, crushing EU innovation inside and out. Now let's look at China's red ethics. DeepSeek terms of services now include ideological compliance. We hear a lot of people talking about the Taiwan independence or Tiananmen Square, those little things that are trivial in the sense of what these models can actually do. But here's the twist. Western CEOs may secretly admire this. No messy debate about bias or free speech, just direct and to the point and a fully closed system that's controlled by a corporation. The opposite of what open source would be. Some of the unforeseen winners are pirates, hackers, and grandma. The pirate GPT economy is thriving below the surface of the internet on the dark web, and there are dark web sites which are selling stripped down large language models similar to GPT-4 Mini that run on Raspberry Pis, trained on pirated OpenAI, Microsoft data, also went after DeepSeek claiming they used pirated data, and they also did a reverse stance and started offering it on their Azure servers. And the cost for some of these pirated models can be significantly cheaper. You're looking at $10 a month versus OpenAI's $20 a month. Even grandma uses them for recipe bots. Would you use a pirated large language model, a chat GPT that's pirated if it's a little bit cheaper? Who's receiving that data? Where are those servers? What are they doing with that data? What are they going to learn about you that only your closest relatives and these AIs will know about you? The energy pirates as well are important. This is a big nightmare for Microsoft because Azure's unused server capacity is being secretly leased by Chinese AI firms via shell companies, and there are a lot of actors in the West that are utilizing our infrastructure, not because they don't have it locally, because they can produce their models outside the vacuum of the iron wall of China. Now, some closing statements here is there's a lot of things happening below the surface here. The AI wars aren't just a tech race, they're the new Cold War. China's playing 4D chess with open source trap and energy pirates, while Silicon Valley is still arguing about monetization and how they can scale their models. The real winners, the kid in Nairobi running a Llama 3 knockoff on an iPhone. The future of AI isn't GPT-5, it's whoever survives the gutter fight. You think I'm wrong? Prove it in the comments and make sure to like and smash subscribe for part 2, how AI will eat the stock market.